Unleashing your authentic passion, the resilient revolution. Welcome, fellow dreamers, doers, and disruptors. Today we're diving headfirst into a topic that's not just close to my heart, but essential to the very fabric of success and fulfillment in our lives. We're about to embark on a journey that will challenge your perceptions, ignite your spirit, and quite possibly change the trajectory of your life and career. But before we dive in, I want to acknowledge the incredible individual who inspired this talk. Dennicka Parchman, a visionary leader and entrepreneur whose insights have sparked a revolution in how we think about passion, resilience, and authenticity. Dennicka's work isn't just changing businesses, it's transforming lives, empowering individuals to break free from the shackles of conformity and embrace their true potential. Her impact ripples through communities, inspiring a new generation of leaders who aren't afraid to be unapologetically themselves. Now, let's get real for a moment. How many of you have ever felt like you're just going through the motions in your career or life? Raise your hand if you've ever looked at successful people and thought, what do they have that I don't? Well, folks, I'm here to let you in on a little secret. The game changer isn't some magical talent or a stroke of luck. It's something far more powerful, something that each and every one of us possesses, but few truly harness. I'm talking about passion, but not the kind of passion you see in cheesy motivational posters. No, I'm talking about a different breed of passion, one that's gritty, resilient, and authentically you. Let's break it down, shall we? When most people hear the word passion, they think of enthusiasm, excitement, maybe even a bit of that starry-eyed idealism. But Dennicka Parchman challenges us to think differently. She argues that true passion isn't just about feeling excited, it's about being resilient. It's about taking every project, every challenge, every setback, and turning it into an opportunity to level up. Imagine you're climbing a mountain. The view from the top, breathtaking. But the journey, it's a whole different story. Loose rocks, steep inclines, unpredictable weather. It's not for the faint of heart. Now, enthusiasm might get you to lace up your boots and take those first steps, but it's resilience that's going to get you to the summit. Let me tell you about Sarah, a young entrepreneur I met at a conference last year. Sarah had this brilliant idea for a tech startup that could revolutionize healthcare accessibility. Sounds great, right? Well, investor after investor didn't think so. She faced rejection after rejection. Now, many people would have thrown in the towel, chalked it up to a nice try, and moved on to something easier, but not Sarah. You see, Sarah didn't just persist, she evolved. With every no, she refined her pitch. With every skeptical look, she dug deeper into her market research. She didn't just push through the rejections, she used them as fuel to make her idea even better. That's passion as resilience in action, folks. But here's where it gets really interesting. Dennicka emphasized that this kind of resilience isn't about gritting your teeth and pushing through misery. It's not about suffering for your art or your business. No, it's about finding joy in the process. It's about waking up every day, excited to see how much further you can push your limits, how much more you can learn, how much better you can become. Think about it this way. Have you ever been so engrossed in a project that you lost track of time? Maybe you looked up and realized hours had passed, but it felt like minutes. That's what we're talking about here. It's about being so deeply engaged in what you're doing that challenges become opportunities, obstacles become stepping stones. Now, let's talk about maximizing each moment. We hear a lot about living in the present, but what does that really mean in a professional context? Dennicka's perspective offers a fresh, almost revolutionary take on this. Picture your typical workday. How many moments do you let slip by, lost in routine or distraction? What if, and I want you to really consider this, what if you approached each task, each interaction, each challenge with the mindset of how can I make the absolute most of this? I'm not talking about overworking yourself into burnout. I'm talking about being fully present, fully engaged in whatever you're doing, whether you're in a meeting, working on a project, or even just having a conversation with a colleague. What if you gave it your full undivided attention? There's a fascinating study I came across recently about peak performance states. Researchers found that individuals who regularly enter what's called a flow state, where they're fully immersed in what they're doing, report higher levels of satisfaction and achievement in their work. This isn't just feel-good psychology, it's a tangible, measurable difference in performance and fulfillment. But here's the kicker, you can't fake this kind of engagement, which brings us to the third pillar of Dennicka's philosophy, authenticity. In a world that often pressures us to conform, to fit into predefined modes of success, Dennicka advocates for something truly revolutionary: the audacity to be genuinely ourselves. Let me share a personal story that really drives this point home. Early in my career, I felt this immense pressure to adopt a leadership style that just didn't feel natural to me. I thought I needed to be more aggressive, more outspoken, more like the leaders I saw around me. I tried to fit this mold, thinking it was the key to success. You know what happened? I became less effective as a leader. My team could sense the inauthenticity, and it created a disconnect. It wasn't until I embraced my own strengths, my empathy, my ability to listen and build consensus, that I truly came into my own as a leader. This is the power of authenticity, folks. It's not just about being true to yourself. It's about leveraging your unique strengths and perspectives to create value in ways that only you can. And here's the beautiful thing: when you're authentic, you give others permission to do the same. You create an environment where innovation and creativity can flourish. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, this all sounds great in theory, but how does it work in the real world, in the face of real challenges and obstacles? I'm glad you asked, because this is where the rubber meets the road. Let me tell you about a study highlighted in a recent Economic Times article. It focused on resilient leadership during times of change and uncertainty. The leaders who cultivated resilience weren't just surviving, they were thriving. They were able to inspire confidence in their teams, promote innovation, and guide their organizations through some of the most turbulent times we've seen in recent history. One leader, let's call her Maria, was heading a tech company when the pandemic hit. Overnight, her entire business model was thrown into chaos. But instead of panicking, Maria saw it as an opportunity. She rallied her team, pivoted their product to meet the new needs of a remote workforce, and not only survived the crisis, but came out stronger on the other side. That's resilience in action, folks. But it's not just about individual success. The Black CEO podcast recently featured an episode on the audacity of authenticity. It explored how embracing authenticity in business can lead to not just personal growth, but to fostering trust and driving innovation on a company-wide scale. One of the featured stories was about a CEO, let's call him James, who decided to break from the traditional corporate mold. Instead of maintaining a facade of infallibility, he started being open with his team about the challenges the company was facing and his own uncertainties. You know what happened? His team stepped up in ways he never expected. They started bringing innovative solutions to the table, taking ownership of problems, and the company culture transformed into one of collaboration and shared purpose. This isn't just feel-good storytelling. This is real-world evidence of how resilience, maximizing each moment, and authenticity can drive tangible success in the business world. But here's where it gets really exciting. The Dear BLK CEO podcast has been doing groundbreaking work in helping minority entrepreneurs navigate the often treacherous waters of the corporate world. They've shown how building resilience, leveraging unique skills, and creating strong networks can help overcome the unique obstacles faced by minority business owners. One story that really stuck with me was about a woman named Tasha. Tasha had a successful corporate career, but she always dreamed of starting her own business. The leap from corporate security to entrepreneurial uncertainty was daunting, especially as a woman of color in a predominantly white male industry. But Tasha didn't let that stop her. She leveraged her corporate skills, built a network of supportive mentors and peers, and most importantly, stayed true to her vision and values. Today, Tasha's company is not just successful, it's changing the landscape of her industry. She's created opportunities for other minority professionals and is actively working to break down the barriers she once faced. This is what happens when you combine resilience, authenticity, and a commitment to maximizing every opportunity. Now, I can see the fire in your eyes. You're inspired, you're motivated, but you might be wondering, how do I put this into practice in my own life? I'm glad you asked, because this is where the rubber meets the road. First, let's talk about building resilience. This isn't about never failing. It's about how you respond to failure. Start by reframing challenges as opportunities for growth. When you face a setback, don't ask, why me? Ask, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger? Develop a growth mindset where you see your abilities and intelligence as things that can be developed, not fixed traits. Try this. The next time you face a challenge, big or small, take a moment to write down 3 potential positive outcomes that could result from overcoming it. Train your brain to see opportunities where others see obstacles. Next, maximizing each moment. This starts with mindfulness. Practice being fully present in whatever you're doing, whether you're in a meeting, working on a project, or even just having a conversation. Give it your full attention. Ask yourself regularly, am I making the most of this moment? Here's a practical tip. Set a reminder on your phone to go off randomly throughout the day. When it does, take a deep breath and ask yourself, am I fully engaged right now? How can I make the most of this moment? It might feel awkward at first, but trust me, it can be transformative. And finally, embracing authenticity. This begins with self-awareness. Take time to reflect on your values, your strengths, your passions, what makes you unique, what perspectives do you bring to the table that no one else can. Then have the courage to bring these authentic qualities into your work and your leadership style. Try this exercise. Write a letter to your future self describing the impact you want to have made in 5 years' time. Don't focus on titles or achievements, but on the difference you want to make and the person you want to be. Let this vision guide your actions and decisions. Now, I want to be clear. This isn't about overnight transformation. It's about consistent, intentional practice. It's about making small choices every day that align with these principles. It's about showing up again and again, even when it's difficult. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with a challenge. Over the next week, I want you to approach each day with the mindset we've discussed. Embrace challenges as opportunities for growth. Seek to maximize each moment to be fully present in whatever you're doing. And most importantly, have the courage to bring your authentic self to every situation. Remember, passion isn't just about what you do, it's about how you do it. It's about resilience in the face of challenges. It's about squeezing every ounce of potential out of each moment, and it's about having the audacity to be unapologetically you. In the words of Dennicka Parchman, passion can only be displayed by showing and proving. So go out there and show the world what you're capable of. Prove to yourself and others that resilience, presence, and authenticity are not just buzzwords, but powerful tools for success and fulfillment. As you leave this talk today, I want you to ask yourself, what would my life and career look like if I approached every day with resilience? If I truly maximized each moment? If I had the courage to be authentically me? The answer to that question is your roadmap to unleashing your true passion and potential. But don't stop there. I challenge you to take this message beyond yourself. How can you create spaces in your workplace, in your community, where others feel empowered to be resilient, to be fully present, to be authentically themselves? How can you be the catalyst for a culture of authentic passion and resilience? Imagine a world where everyone around you is operating at their highest potential, fully engaged, authentically themselves. That's not just a nice idea, it's a revolution waiting to happen. And it starts with you. So, will you accept the challenge? Will you dare to be resilient in the face of adversity? Will you commit to maximizing each moment of your life? Will you have the courage to be unapologetically, authentically you? The world is waiting for your unique contribution. It's time to show up, to prove what you're capable of, and to unleash your authentic passion. The revolution starts now, and it starts with you. Thank you.